Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Saturday, March 19th, 2022 writing, reading, speaking class. Hope you had a great week. We'll probably have some students coming into class here within the next minute or so. But we'll go ahead and get started. For those that here on time, thank you for doing that. And as always, just give me a 1 in the chat room to let me know you can hear me okay, and we'll get started. Okay, perfect, great. And as always, let's start off with a review of some material that we worked on from our previous class, just to make sure that we're remembering things from lesson to lesson. And last week, the big question was, what was the difference between two of the tenses that we had worked on, which was the future simple and the future perfect simple. The future simple, I will live in Chicago for 4 years versus I will have lived in Chicago for 4 years. While both of these sentences talked about the future, there was a big difference between them. Does anyone remember what was the difference between these two tenses? Raise your hand if you remember. Well, oftentimes within the title of the tense, it actually reveals to us what some of the differences were. So as we noticed in the very first one, or in the first two, they both say future, so we know for sure they're both talking about something that will happen in the future, something that hasn't happened yet. But then we have this word perfect. Does anyone remember what perfect represented when you see it in a tense? Perfect. The word perfect. No? Well, perfect, that represented two tenses being represented. So whichever tense we know for sure, we can go one tense back. In this case, that would be the present. So the big difference between in the second sentence is that the second sentence is talking about two tenses or two periods of time. We're talking about both something that happens in the present and something that will happen in the future. Now, with simple, we knew that they were both focused on an end result or what's going to be happening because at the what was the one-time result that occurred. So what do we have in the first? I will live in Chicago for 4 years. We have an action that has not occurred at all. And the second tense, I will have lived in Chicago for 4 years, means that that person now in the present is living in Chicago. And in the future, they will eventually hit a mark where it's been 4 years. But in the first one, nothing has happened yet. Now that representation you can see on the chart below, on the chart here, where the first one talks about sometime in the future at 2 p.m., this person will eat lunch. And then the future perfect, where we're talking about something that's starting between now and the future, but it will finish. They will have eaten lunch by 2 p.m. So how do you know what to look for to recognize? Well, you have to think about what is being said. Is the action talked about something that seems like it's already started? Or has that action, does it seem like that action has not even begun at all? Let's take a look at a couple of ones that we did from last week. Let's take a look at number 2. It says, I, with the verb be very sad if you do that. Now our choices are, this could be something that has already started and that will end in the future, or something that has not started at all yet. Who remembers what was the correct answer here? I, with the verb be very sad if you do that. Jeffrey, does this seem like it's already started or it hasn't started at all?
It's already started.
And what makes you think that? Well, let's talk about this one for a second.
Sorry about that. It was one of the phones ringing.
Okay. So what makes you think that it's already started?
It's because I will be very sad if you do that. I'm pretty sure the person already knows that that person will be very sad already.
Well, you said I will be very sad, and that's actually the future tense because the future just uses will plus the infinitive of the verb. And I'll tell you this, what you said was correct, but the way you translate it was correct, but this is actually a future tense. See, the special word here is if you do that. If means that nothing has actually occurred yet. So for that reason, then what we're talking about has not even happened, because the first thing that has to happen is someone has to do something, and then the person's going to be sad. So nothing has happened in this one. And that's why will, as you said, makes more sense. I will be very sad if you do that. Now, if it was, let's say it was future perfect simple, which was the one where it's already started, that would say, I will have been very sad. Well, first of all, it doesn't sound right in this sentence, but it doesn't work because nothing has happened yet. And we would only use the future will have been, the future perfect, if something had occurred. Okay, let's take a look at number 3. We did this one last week too. It says, I, with the verb, tell you everything when I go back. So the first question we have to ask is, has something started in this? Or has nothing begun and this is going to be a future action? I, with the verb, tell you everything when I go back. Who thinks they remember? Jaden, what do you think here? Do you think anything has started yet?
On question 11,
Number 3?
on 3, I think nothing has happened yet.
You're correct. Nothing has happened yet. And one of the words that really stands out and lets us know that is when. What's that?
When is
When.
when I
That's
go
right.
back.
So, Jaden, what would this one be in future simple?
I will tell you everything when I get back.
That's correct. I will tell you everything when I get back. Excellent. Now let's take a look at number 5. We also did this one. It says next month we, with the verb be married for 25 years. So here we have to ask ourselves, has something started or has nothing started? Let's see, Jiwoo, is this your actual name?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is this your first time in class?
Yes.
Okay, well, welcome to class. G, would you like to see if you can pick this one out? So it says next month we, with the verb be married for 25 years. Does this sound like something's already started or has it not started at all? What do you think, Jiwoo?
What?
For number 5, do you think something has already started in this sentence or has nothing started at all? Next month, we, with the verb be married for 25 years.
We'll be married for 25 years.
I'm sorry? What did you say?
What?
What did you say? Okay, it seems that we're having a little bit of a mic issue. May want to check that. Baron, perhaps you can help with number 5. Next month, we, with the verb be married for 25 years. Has anything happened yet?
No.
Are you sure?
Sorry.
So let's do a comparison. We have next month And then we also have 25 years.
Oh,
So there's no way that we can cover 25 years in just a month. Something's already
Yeah.
started. So they're already married right now. So if we had to put this one in future perfect simple using will have plus the past participle of the verb, how would that one be?
next month we will be married.
Well, that's future simple, and that's talking about something that hasn't started. But future perfect simple is will have plus the past participle of the verb.
Oh, we'll have be married for 25 years.
That's correct. Next month, we will have been married for 25 years because future perfect simple uses will have plus the past participle of the verb. Okay, so it seems that we're still a little confused on these, but that's okay. These are not always easy tenses, so we'll get a chance to work with them a little bit later in class. On the next page afterwards, you'll find the answer key where you can go back and check your answers for those last 3 that we did from last week. But for right now, let's go ahead and dive into our reading assignment. Estella, can you read our quote of the day?
In ancient times, cats were worshipped as gods. They have not forgotten this. I think it's the Egyptians who worship them.
Yes, yeah, a long time ago, ancient Egypt, cats were worshipped. They were supposed to be special beings, and they were worshipped as gods. But what does the author mean when he says they have not forgotten this? Anyone have an idea of what this author is referring to when he says that? They have not forgotten this. Jaden?
Is it that they were now aren't treated equally or something? Because before they were treated like they were gods, and now they may be strays.
Okay, that's a good idea. It's not quite. Jeffrey, do you have another thought?
Maybe when they say that they mean like you shouldn't, like in the ancient times cats were worshipped, like you shouldn't forget things that were important to you.
Okay, all right, that's a good idea. Not quite what they meant. Anyone else have any idea? They have not forgotten this. Well, this quote is actually making kind of fun about cats and their personality. If you know the personality of a cat compared to a dog, cats are very independent. They don't like to take direction. And in some cases, they think they're maybe better, or they act like they're better than even humans. And that's kind of the joke of this, is that cats have this personality that's very independent, and they will do whatever they want, whether you like it or not, just like a god would. Well, today we're going to be talking about cats because cats are celebrated each year in a competition or show that features cats. Let's learn a little bit about this. Zebu, can you read our first paragraph?
CFA's International Cat Show is a cat show hosted by the Cat Fanciers Association, considered a Rolls-Royce of international cat shows. It is the largest show of its type in the U.S. Atlanta, Georgia, and Houston, Texas have each hosted the event for a record 4 times.
Excellent. So this cat show celebrates the various different types of cats, and they call it the Rolls-Royce. Does anyone understand what this reference is? Rolls-Royce. Jaden?
Is it a very fancy car?
It is. It's a very luxurious car. And so they compare this competition, the luxury of the car, to the luxury at the same level of luxury as the competition. So it's a very unique way that they do that with this comparison. Does anyone know what we call that when we compare two things that are different in writing? What do we refer to that as? Jaden?
Compare and contrast.
Well, we're not contrasting anything. We're just comparing two things. It starts with an A. Analogy. So here we're making an analogy about the competition to an analogy of an expensive car. Jeffrey, yes, Jeffrey, can you read our second paragraph?
Sure. Male are neutral
Neutered?
Males are neutral males have won the best in show. 15 of the 24 times the show has been held, the Persian cat breed has won. Best in show, 16 of the past. The show was renamed the CFA.
Yeah, so you skipped a line. So the Persian cat breed.
The Persian cat breed has won Best in Show 16 of the past 24 shows. The show was renamed the CFA Royal Canin World Championship in 2012.
Excellent. So in this competition, similar to like a dog competition, we have different breeds that can be best in show. And what they've noticed is that the male breed and also the specific breed, the Persian cat, Persian male cats tend to win in this show. Now, the cats could be either male or neutered males. What does the word neutered mean? Anyone know what the word neutered means? So if a animal has been neutered, it refers to what happens to a male when they are no longer able to reproduce babies or children. They have been neutered. Jaden, can you read our third paragraph?
In 2019, the show was held on October 12 to 13 in Cleveland, Ohio. The show was traditionally held in the weekend before Thanksgiving in November in the United States. At each show, there are 12 to 16 specialty judging rings, which are for both long-haired and short-haired cat breeds.
Excellent. So breed, this word is very interesting because it can have multiple meanings. In this reference, how are they referring to breed? What does it mean, Jaden?
It means like the type or the mixed type.
Exactly, the type of cat. So if you notice all of these, if it was one particular breed, all the cats would look exactly the same as far as their color, their coat, perhaps their eye color as well. They're all from the same breed. And when we think about breeds, oftentimes in these types of competitions, people are looking for what's called purebred cats or purebred animals, which means that they have not been mixed with any other type of animal. Estella, did you want to add something?
Well, they may not look exactly the same, but like a same breed might have a special marking to like identify it or a special way it acts. And just like dogs, cats can be like mixed together. For example, you may take like a long hair cat and breed it with a short hair cat and get a weird looking cat.
Exactly. And a lot of times in these competitions, they may not, cats that have been bred with other breeds may not be eligible to compete in certain categories because they're looking for purebred cats, cats that have only mixed with cats of their same breed. Estella, can you go ahead and read our first paragraph?
They also include kittens, championship cat, non-spayed or neutered pedigree cats over 8 months old, and premiership cat, spayed or tiered pedigree cats over 8 months old. One day of the show is preliminaries for best in breeds such as Persian, Maine Coon, and Taiwanese.
Excellent. Now, we had the word breed. Now, pedigree oftentimes is very similar to breed, because once again, it deals more with purebred animals, where breed can be a little bit more general for cats that have been possibly mixed. Pedigree tends to be more purebred. Now, we have this word spade. Anyone know what the word spade refers to? So earlier we talked about, oh, Jeffrey?
I'm pretty sure it's like a type of diamond.
No, it's not a diamond. So earlier we talked about the word neutered, and how neutered was for a male cat who can no longer produce. Well, spade is what they say for a female cat who can no longer be produced. So their reproductive organs have been removed so that they cannot produce offspring. Baron, can you read our second paragraph?
Yes. The second and final day of the competition shows the best in each cat breed in all 3 categories mentioned, then complete for the best in each category overall. Then for best in show, which the overall winner of the competition, top 5 winners in each category and overall are presented.
So what's very interesting about these competitions is they first are going to separate all of the different breeds and find the winner of that breed. Then the winner from each different breed will compete for what's known as best in show. Ziwu, can you read our last paragraph?
Proceeds from the show go to the Win Beeline Foundation. Since 1968, the foundation has raised over $2 million, with the entire amount going to cat health research. The CFA Foundation was created on June 22, 1990. The original idea to having a foundation was to educate people on their history, but it has since turned into a museum. Beeline Historical Museum with a complete library of more than 1,400 books about all things cat related.
Excellent. So a little bit later, we're going to be doing some writing based on the CFA cat show. But let's first answer 5 quiz questions based on the reading. Now, keep track of your score. We're going to add this to the PowerPoint. But there was a sentence in the writing that said the show was renamed the CFA Royal Canin World Championship in 2012. Now, who can tell me what are the capital letters called when we capitalize them in writing, and why are they used? Estella?
Oh, sorry, I accidentally raised my hand.
Oh, okay. Jaden?
It's because it's the title of a name and it's shortened.
Can you give me some more detail?
I mean, like sometimes you'll hear things like a name, like it's all capitalized, and then when you shorten it up, since like the NBA or the NFL, it all stands for 3 things, and since it's the title, so it has to be capitalized.
Okay, so what is the name of that? What is that called?
I forgot.
Does anyone remember what that's called? Okay, that is called an acronym. I'll write it into the chat room. An acronym is whenever we have a long title of words. And in order to use an acronym, you must first always write out the word with all of the words listed. Then you can put the acronym in parentheses of what those represent. And what you'll use to create the acronym is the first letter of each of the words. Now, oftentimes you'll see acronyms listed with dots in between. Now, we didn't see it in this writing, but if they were doing it absolutely correct, they would have C.F.A/royal, because now we know that each of those words represents, or each of those letters represents a complete word of the title. But it's a way to shorten the title, as you mentioned, Jaden. Very good. Okay, number 2, we had a portion of the sentence that said, which are for both long-haired and short-haired cat breeds. Now, who remembers, what does the word breed mean? What does the word breed mean? Jeffrey?
Breed means like the type of cat.
Exactly, the type or the sort of cat. Very good. All right, number 3, we had another sentence that said, considered the Rolls-Royce of international cat shows. It's the largest show. Now, oftentimes we want to try to find different words that mean the same thing or synonyms so that we're not using the same words all the time. What are some options we could put in place of Rolls-Royce? Estella?
I don't think this would fit with the name, but maybe a valuable car.
So we're not looking for how to replace Rolls-Royce as a car. We're looking for how do we replace that in the sentence. What does the Rolls-Royce represent?
Like, best?
Perfect. Yes. Considered the best of international cat shows. Jaden?
First class or highest rank.
Very good. Excellent. Jeffrey?
I was gonna say what Estella said.
Okay, perfect. What about premier? The premier. All of those are great options. Well done. All right, now let's take a look at this next sentence. There's 4 mistakes that we need to correct in this sentence. The sentence reads, males or neutered males have won the best in show 15 of the 24 times the show has been held. There's 4 mistakes in this sentence. Let's see if we can identify them. Raise your hand if you see any of them. You want to give me one of them, Jaden?
15 and 24, I don't think you have to, write them out in word form, because any number above 10, you do not need to write it in word form.
You are correct. Now, this was also another mistake from the writing. If they were writing correctly, they would have put 15 and 24 as numbers. Now, we're going to go ahead and leave that one the way it is right now. But you are absolutely correct, Jaden. We should have put those as actual numbers. Estella?
I don't think you need to capitalize neutered males.
Exactly. This is a wrong use of a proper noun or an adjective in there. So that can just be lowercase. Okay, so that's one of them. We've got 3 other mistakes we need to fix. 3 other mistakes. Jaden?
Do we need something like quotation marks around best in show?
That is correct. This is a proper title of this competition. So in that being a title, needs commas. Correct. Very good. All right, 2 more things. Estella?
Do we need a comma after times? Like times the show has been held?
No. Okay, Jeffrey?
Maybe you should have a comma after best in show.
You are correct. There is a comma. Now, does that comma go on the outside or the inside of the quotation?
Outside.
Actually, it goes in the inside. So one thing to remember, anytime you work with quotations, any punctuation must go inside. quotations. Okay, one more correction, Jaden.
Do you need to do something, or nurtured males? Do you need a comma after it?
No, we don't. All right, I'll give you a hint. There's something wrong with our numbers, and it's not that we need to change them to actual numbers. There's something wrong with how the numbers are written. Estella?
We need a dash between 20 and 4.
Are you sure it's called a dash?
I actually have no idea.
It is called a hyphen, and you're correct.
Oh, hyphen.
We must put a hyphen between 20 and 4 whenever we're writing numbers out that are larger than 20, where we have 2 words there. Very good. Okay, number 5. This sentence, I want to know what verb tense this sentence is in. The sentence reads, since 1968, the foundation has raised over $2 million, with the entire amount going to cat health research. What tense is this sentence in? Jaden?
Past continuous?
No,
Or past tense?
no, not past tense. Anyone else? Think about our ones that we've studied, in most cases, pretty recently. Estella?
It's either present perfect or past perfect.
Which is it?
Past perfect?
What's your verb?
Raised?
Now, if it's perfect, it has to use 2 words. So what's the one before? Has, right?
Perfect simple?
So now let's stick with what you're doing. So it has is still a part of that verb. Has raised. Is has present or past?
Past?
Has?
Present?
Present. So which is the correct one of the ones that you picked?
Present perfect simple?
Correct. Present perfect simple. Because the first of those perfect tenses will tell you if it's has, it's present. If it's will, it's future. If it's had, it's past. So that's how you can always know which one it is correct. Very good, Stella. All right, so go ahead and send me your score of how you did out of the 5 quiz questions. You can go ahead and send that over to me now in the chat room. And also indicate with a yes or a no if you completed the homework assignment from last week. We'll add that to the PowerPoint. And let's go ahead now and take a look at our writing assignment for today. Now, as always, we have some vocabulary words. Try to incorporate 1 or 2 of the vocabulary words into your writing to give you a chance to work with some new vocabulary. For today's vocabulary, we have Rolls Royce, neutered, breeds, spade, and pedigree. Now, for today's questions, I want you to focus on no more than 2 questions to answer, no more than 2. Your choices are, number 1, what are the differences in how cats are judged? What are the differences in how cats are judged? Or number 2, what are your favorite breeds of cats and why? Or number 3, if you had a cat, would you enter it into a competition? Why or why not? I'm going to go ahead and copy the questions over to the chat room so that you can refer to them. And I'll leave the vocabulary list up so that you can incorporate some of the vocabulary words. But go ahead and complete your writing assignment, and then we'll take a look at some of the writing that comes in. Just a couple of details since we have a new student. As we write these, we are writing in paragraph form, and we're looking that you go into detail so that you don't leave any questions for the reader in their mind. So which oftentimes means that you're going to be writing at least 2, if not more, sentences per question. Once you have completed your writing, you can submit it to me privately in the chat room. And then of the writings that come in, we'll take a look at some in a little bit and give you some feedback on how you can improve on your writing skills. Okay, let's go ahead and start to take a look at some of the writing that's coming in. You can continue submitting your writing. We'll have a chance to look at everyone's. But Estella, let's go ahead and have you read yours for the group.
If I had a cat, I would train it and then enter it in a competition. I probably wouldn't go to the highest ranked ones because you start easy, then climb.
Okay, very good. All right, nice, Estella. Nice, short, sweet, but gave us all the details that we need. Let's look at just a couple of structural things that you want to remember. Now, in if statements, there is a comma that's needed. Can you tell me where we're missing a comma? In the very first sentence?
After cat?
That's correct, yes. Now, are you sure that we need a comma after it?
I'm not too sure.
Okay, let's talk about this. So if a sentence is complete, then we need a comma. But in your case, and then enter it into a competition, that's actually not a complete sentence. That's just a continuation on using a conjunction, but not a complete sentence. So we can just use the comma after cat there. And then you said, I probably wouldn't go to the highest ranked ones. And at this point, we know we're talking about competition, but we've got a couple of different adjectives that you use to describe one. Do you want them to be separate, or should they be connected somehow?
I don't know.
Okay, so your adjectives are highest and then ranked. Those two actually relate to each other versus them being separate adjectives. So in this case, because they are talking about the same thing, it's a specific rank, the highest rank, we need to incorporate a hyphen. Now, if you had separate words that didn't relate to them and they were all just describing the same thing, that's describing the one, then we would have them separated with commas. But in this case, highest rank describes the rank. It needs a hyphen through there. And then climb, and the rest of that works very nicely. Very good. Now, Estella, you did address the reader because you start easy and then climb. Did you mean to do that? So are you giving advice to the reader at that point?
No.
Okay, if you're giving advice, it's okay to address the reader. If you're not, then you want to use either third person or yourself. In this case, you're talking about yourself. I would probably just use yourself. Can you figure out how you could change that?
I start easy.
Okay, what if I probably wouldn't go to the highest rank ones because I would want to start easy and then climb. Perfect. Good. So a couple things there structural wise. The material was fine. We just need to really get into some of those punctuation mistakes there and correct them. Very good. All right, Jeffrey, let's have you read yours for the group.
I have found some mistakes. Can you put a period after because? And so.
A comma, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then can you capitalize first? Yeah.
Capitalize first?
Yeah.
In the middle of a sentence?
No.
Okay, yeah. We don't want to capitalize anything in the middle of the sentence. Okay, go ahead.
I want to enter because first it would take a long time to go there. Next, I am allergic to cats. Finally, I get car sick very easily. That's why I wouldn't enter my cat into a contest.
Very good. Okay, excellent. All right, so Jeffrey, let's talk about a couple of things that can help you out in your writing. Now, you gave us all the details we need, but you did it backwards. You put it at the very end. So we always want to use the noun that tells us what's going on first, and then we can use pronouns. So we didn't know what it referred to until you said we wouldn't want to enter a cat into a contest. Let's put that in the beginning. So let's say I wouldn't want to enter my cat in a contest because. Now we as the readers know exactly what you're talking about from the very beginning. Now, the comma that you added there after because was correct. Well done there. A lot of people end up missing that comma. And then you also had your one after first. So this is a great, perfect example of how we use commas with short dependent clauses that come after because. First, it would take a long time to go there. Now you're talking about the contest. I would actually say that we say to get there, because that shows that you're traveling from one place to another to get there. Perfect use of your comma for next. Next, I am allergic to cats. And then finally, you had finally, but what are we missing in finally?
A comma.
That's right. That same type of comma we need. I get car sick very easily. Excellent. Now, let's look at your points. You talked about getting to a competition. You talked about you being allergic to cats. And then you talked about getting car sick very easily. Would you change the order of anything that's more important than another?
I think I should switch it. I am allergic to cats with I get car sick easily because then it'll be close to first. It will take a long time to get there.
Okay, so you'd say first it takes a long time to get it, and second, I get car sick very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's better. Your other option that I was thinking is maybe we put that you're allergic to cats first, since that's a big argument, but either one works. But you're right. I feel like we need to put the next, I get car sick very easily, and then finally, I am allergic to cats. Good. Very good with the placements there. Well done. All right, I'm going to go ahead and copy over our next writer. Jaden, let's have you read yours for the group. Okay, go ahead, Jaden.
If I had a cat, I wouldn't want to enter it into a contest because the cats in a contest are probably the Rolls Royces in the cat world. The cats in their show are very fancy, and they probably are owned by millionaires.
Very nice, Jaden. I like some of the information that you give here. A little different for us, and great use of one of the words from our writing. No, so similar with Estella, it's your material is great. We're just going to look at a couple of punctuation things that we need to fix. Now, you mentioned that you wouldn't want to enter it into a contest. I'm just going to lowercase into a contest because the cats in the contest are the Rolls Royces. So here showing, oh wait, never mind, a Rolls Royces of the cat world. In the cat world, I would actually use the preposition of the cat world instead of in. In is more for when you put something in something, so it's going inside something. Of means is a quantifier And that's what we want to use in this case, Rolls Royce of the cat world. The cats in the show are all very fancy, and they probably are owned by millionaires. Some punctuation that we need to add in this sentence. Any idea what we need to add?
Comma?
Yes, where should that comma go? So you have two complete.
After fancy. After
That's
fancy.
right. That's right. So since we have two complete sentences, the cats in the show are all very fancy, and then the other one, they are probably owned by millionaires. Whenever we have two complete sentences, we have to use both a comma and the conjunction. Very good. Well done. All right, great job, writers. Now, earlier we were talking about how do we figure out if a sentence belongs to future simple using will plus the infinitive, or future perfect simple, which is will have plus the past participle. The difference was that you have to decide if something in the sentence has already started, or if nothing has started of what we're talking about. Let's take a look at a couple more examples. Let's move to number 8. Number 8 says, John is very upset today. I, with the verb, tried to talk to him. So now thinking about talking, the person who's going to talk, have they started doing that, or is it something that they have not begun? Raise your hand if you think you know what the answer is. John is very upset today. I, with the verb, tried to talk to him. Raise your hand if you think you know. Jeffrey?
I think, sorry.
That's okay.
I think, it hasn't happened yet because you're still trying to talk to him. You haven't like talked to him yet.
That is correct. Nothing has happened yet. So in that case, that means it's going to be future simple. Can you put this one in future simple for us?
John is very upset today. I will try to talk to him.
That's right. I will try to talk to him. We just use will plus the infinitive. Very good. Okay, number 9. Number 9, it says, by the end of the week, he, with the verb, spend all his money. Now, same sort of question. Has something started, or is nothing begun at all? Estella, what do you think?
Well, it sounds like he already started to spend money, cause or else you wouldn't know by the end of the week he will spend all of it. Like if he didn't spend any, then you probably couldn't guess that at the end of the week the money is gonna be gone.
You are absolutely correct. That is perfect. He has started spending money. So that means it's going to be future perfect simple. Estella, can you put this one in future perfect for us?
By the end of the week, he will have spent all his money.
That is correct. By the end of the week, he will have spent all his money. Excellent job. Excellent, excellent. All right, we'll try one more together. Number 10. By the time you arrive, she, with the verb go. So be careful on this one. By the time you arrive, she, with the verb go. Same question. Has something happened, or has nothing happened? Be careful. Raise your hand if you might have a guess of which is correct. Ziwu, what do you think here? Do you think something's happened in this one, or do you think nothing's happened? What do you think? You want some help? Let's see, Baron, do you have an guess here of what may have happened? Do you think something's happened or has nothing happened?
I think it has happened.
You're right. Something has happened. Now, if you weren't quite sure here, one of the other things you can do is you can translate it in both tenses and see which one sounds correct. But you're right, Baron, something has happened. So that means it's going to be future perfect simple using will have plus the past participle of the verb. Can you put this one in future perfect simple for us?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyone want to help Aaron with putting this in future perfect simple? Future perfect simple. Estella?
By the time you arrive, she will have gone.
Very good. By the time you arrive, she will have gone. So that was a tricky one because you could look at that. You could also think by the time you arrive, she will go. Well, the key here was by the time, which means that something has to happen before that. And that's where she has already left, or she will have gone. Very good. So hopefully this is starting to make a little bit more sense for you. During your after class quiz questions, you'll have to do these similar things where you're going to have to decide, is the tense perfect for future simple or future perfect simple? So be sure to study this chart once again to help you recognize what's the difference in the meaning and how it's formed. On pages 20, 21, and 22, you'll find the questions for you to answer. Also be sure to study the vocabulary words. And then on page 23, you'll find the answer key where you can check all of your answers. At that point, you have the optional writing assignment, which for next week is the following. You are inventing a new flavor of ice cream. What is your new flavor called? And what ingredients do you need to make it? And you'll have a week to complete that before next Saturday, March 26, 2022, 400 words max, and submit that writing to the forum. Next week, you're going to be having a substitute teacher. So I will be back with you 2 weeks from now, but enjoy your time with the substitute. And I look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks. Any questions before we wrap up? All right, well then you all have a great week and I will see you all in 2 weeks.
Bye, have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
Bye.